You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Speaking of guilty, today, Harvey Weinstein sentenced to 23 years in prison in a New York State. He was convicted of committing a criminal sexual act in the first degree and third degree rape. He'll also be formally registered as a sex offender. His team says they will appeal the jury's decision to convict him on 2 of the 5 charges he faced. But, folks, he's not out of trouble. He, of course, is facing charges in Los Angeles as well. Lauren, 6 of the women who testified accused him of sexual assault were in the courtroom today. Some were cheering, some were crying. 23 years, that's a long damn time for somebody. And his lawyers say he may die in prison. Many others say so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he should have gotten a substantial amount of time for what he did. It was a surprising case and a landmark case in that I think it was Cy Vance who said that we no longer need evidence. I don't want to misquote him, but there was something to the effect.
Right, which was sort of like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of need evidence.
We kind of do need evidence. But, I do think that the prosecution did come perilously close to blowing this case. I mean, they were very lucky that we live in the age that we live in terms of Me Too. In terms of paying attention to these types of crimes, but they came very close to overplaying their hand a little bit. And Donna Rotunno was a very good defense attorney for Harvey Weinstein. She probably does have a point with regard to factual data with regard to the length of sentence, because I think the length of sentence is a little bit longer than what people usually get.
We're not on the federal sentencing guidelines, so it's a state guideline, so they may get away with that.
But frankly, Annabella Sciorra, the use of the Molyneux witnesses, a lot of that detail was very interesting and very unprecedented. It would not surprise me if on appeal something strange happened. They had a problem. They had a problem with 2 jurors, and I thought a fairly serious problem with one of the jurors. But I think at the end of the day, sort of the same thing I thought about Cosby in terms of you felt like this person is guilty, but what plays out in court often is not proven. In the case of Weinstein, you feel this person is definitely guilty, but the case, the details, the arguments, and the level of proof and the reasonable doubt seemed to be there. And it was sort of interesting to really watch the details of that.
In legal terms, what was problematic about the case and what you're kind of putting your finger on is that prior relationships, cases like sex and domestic violence cases, if there's a prior relationship, those are the toughest cases to prosecute. That's
and one of the women who testified said that he raped her, but they continue to continue a consensual relationship
for several years.
Jessica Mann, I think that
was. Jessica Mann.
He got 20 years, he got 3 years, so a total of 23, plus 5 years probation. That'll certainly be appealed. Oh, and I'm sorry, they're running that concurrently, not consecutively, right?
Okay,
so
for the person out there listening, explain that.
That means he's got to serve 20 years, and then he's got to serve 3. And when he gets out, if he's still with us, then he's got to do 5 years probation. And so that's 28 years of being on papers, if you will. That'll probably be appealed also. The other part that'll be appealed is that this, what we call evidence of other bad acts or crimes, which are carve-outs for hearsay. That is, okay, I brought 3 counts from 3 women who said this happened, right? Those charges and trial should have been bifurcated, but they weren't. Then they brought in a few other women who they say committed bad acts, and they were brought in by the prosecution to show, and the judge let them do this to show that it wasn't a mistake, that it had higher probative value than the prejudicial impact on the jury. I.e., if he did these bad acts to these 3 women, he certainly did these bad acts and rapes and assaults of the 3 women that are subject of the charges. So that'll probably be appealed too. We'll just have to see. This is quintessential Me Too movement. This is at the heart of it, if you will. And the jury has spoken, juries have spoken, but they certainly have been impacted by the media and the Me Too movement, and that's a good thing, if you will. But we're no better with Me Too and having women not suffer in silence if individuals are prosecuted or over-prosecuted, and there's an injustice within that trial. And so we have to be very careful. We can applaud the conviction and the sentencing, but we cannot violate justice and the rights of these individuals, for then we're no better than what their bad acts were.
Derek, bottom line
Got to
here,
be really clear.
This man was accused by.
Did he interrupt me again?
Actually, no. It's called ending your comment. That's what happens. 24 different women accused him of all sorts of different things like this. He still faces charges in Los Angeles.
Yeah. First of all, I'm with Cosby. That's because I just.
What do you mean?
What do you mean you're with Cosby?
Anyway,
He should not have been convicted?
Anyway, so
Wait
the
a
man.
minute.
Was
Wait,
that
wait,
no,
wait,
was that
wait,
giving
I
him
just
drugs?
think there was some.
He should not have had sex with them after giving him drugs? Is that what you're supporting?
Let me finish. I
Hold on, I'm trying to get to the point.
First of all, if you stood up, let him finish. Go ahead.
I think there was some. I just think there was some problems with his trial too. I think things could have gone differently. That's all I'm saying.
The other women
Okay, I
were brought
got
up
it.
for bad acts
Right.
as well.
I got
Yeah,
it.
that's
Go
what
ahead. Now
that's
finish your
the
point
whole
about
point I wanted to make.
Weinstein. Go ahead.
But Weinstein, I'm glad to see he was convicted because it went on for a long time. But Scott, I do agree with you. You know, if there's a sentencing guideline that needs to be followed, then we should look to that as opposed to just sentencing this man just based
Well, there are
off
some
of-
state sentencing guidelines. I'm just not as familiar.
I mean,
with
But the bottom line is, it gotta
Lauren.
go.
I think that, you know, again, it's another one of these moments where you know this person is guilty, and yet you watch the court
prejudicial
case.
effect.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the court case,
Right.
but you don't see the actual. And when Cy Vance made the comment about, well, we don't need evidence in these cases, who that will end up hurting later on are the
Right.
people who don't have the money to hire people like Donna Rotunno.
Right.
So the poor defendant that gets accused of something that they can't disprove.
what Cy Vance
Real
may or
quick,
may not
real
be
Cy
quick.
Vance
problem.
was saying was they're going to try cases where it's his word against her word or vice versa versus delaying it and looking for additional, stronger corroborating evidence. That's what he said. Testimony is evidence, right? They're not going to exactly sit on it simply because they don't have any corroborating evidence. And that's a policy change.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, so a lot of y'all are always asking me about some of the pocket squares that I wear. Now, Robert don't have one on. Nope. Now, I don't particularly like the white pocket squares. I don't like even the silk ones. And so I was reading GQ magazine a number of years ago, and I saw this guy who had this pocket square here, and it looks like a flower. This is called a shibori pocket square. This is how the Japanese manipulate the fabric to create this sort of flower effect. So I'm going to take it out and then place it in my hand so you see what it looks like. And I said, man, this is pretty cool. And so I tracked down, it took me a year to find a company that did it. And so they make these about 47 different colors. And so I love them because, again, as men, we don't have many accessories to wear. So we don't have many options. And so this is really a pretty cool pocket square. Now, what I love about this here is you saw when it's in the pocket, it gives you that flower effect like that. But if I wanted to also, because if I flip it and turn it over, it actually gives me a different type of texture. And so therefore it gives me a different look. So there you go. So if you actually want to get one of these shibori pocket squares, we have them in 47 different colors. All you got to do is go to rolandsmartin.com/pocket squares. All right, so first of all, that graphic is way too small. So tomorrow we're going to run it right down here all across the screen. So it's rolandsmartin.com/pocket squares. All you got to do is go to my website and you can actually get this. Now, for those of you who are members of our Bring the Funk fan club, there's a discount for you to get our pocket squares. That's why you also got to be a part of our Bring the Funk fan club. And so that's what we want you to do. And so it's pretty cool. So if you want to jazz your look up, you can do that. In addition, y'all see me with some of the feather pocket squares. My sister, who's a designer, she actually makes these. They're all custom made. So when you also go to the website, you can also order one of the customized feather pocket squares right there at rolandsmartin.com/pocket squares. So please do so. And of course, that goes to support the show. And again, if you're a Bring the Funk fan club member, you get a discount. This is why you should join the fan club. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.